Chapter 25, The Church of the Resilient Whole. Here I am, Thomas Pynchon, embedded at the Church of the Resilient Whole, also a noted lab for protein folding. So, what do I do now? Greetings, Thomas Pynchon. Interesting in having a different role for this brief encounter. Let's say you are the Chief Technology Officer at the Church of the Resilient Whole. Perhaps you are Chuck Tingle, the infamous adult author, and not a fan of Pynchon's paranoia or his penchant for cloisters. What do you think of this protein folding business, my friend? I hear the competition is really heating up among various houses of worship. Who are the competitors? You don't have time to dwell on that. Suddenly, the doors burst open and two men dressed in black, carrying men in black briefcases, enter briskly and demand that you turn over all your research. One holds up a badge of exigent circumspection from the Department of Justice. We have reason to believe you are in possession of interstitial intel that could compromise our security, one of them says gruffly. It would appear they are Pynchonoid plants or something. What do you do? How should Thomas Pynchon respond? What does PSYOPS suggest? You idiots, you are blowing my cover. Not a great idea. Hermed Thomas. These guys don't respond to feints, taunts, or anything else. PSYOPS says the only recourse is to summon some allies. Suddenly, a couple of tough-looking guys wearing leather jackets burst into the room, ready to give the MIP agents a proper church visit. They are quickly followed by what appears to be a senior priest of the church, leading a phalanx of loyal acolytes, all of them looking deadly serious and fingering their metallic rosaries, clearly spoiling for a fight. I don't think you have jurisdiction here, remarks one of them to the MIP agents, coolly eyeing them malevolently, and we definitely have the hardware to make you regret it, very badly. An elder statesman, perhaps a retired senator and faithful congregant for over 30 years of pious service to the Lord, raises a gnarled hand in protest. He is a patriot who has been a faithful donor and backer of all church causes. He is not about to stand down before a pair of jumped-up goons sporting illicit lanyards from Langley, or anywhere else for that matter. My dear young men, this property is protected by some pretty heavy people with very deep pockets who don't appreciate the faith being tested. So, I suggest you take your search elsewhere. Perhaps you have something better to do with your talents. I suggest our competitors may be of much more interest than us humble servants. A pair of shady individuals loitering in the shadows by the entrance seemed to come to life for a millisecond at the mention of competitors. Now what do you do, Thomas Pynchon? What course of action would you suggest? I would yell a quote from the most recent protein testament that befits the moment. Wow, 27 seconds and counting. Increase blink rate by 37. Shoes. What's your angle? You're a couple of MIB chippies auditioning for the outer limits. How about you just forget the whole fiasco, or did you already sign something you can't unsign? Joshua Cornpetter, PG 209-2010, the most recent Protein Testament, unabridged ebook. The two MIP agents looked taken aback, then quickly composed themselves as a senior member of their order bustles and toting a very important briefcase that was somehow mysteriously left at home. They mutter quickly among themselves before one looks up and exclaims gruffly, "Nah, we're in the wrong place. Don't mind us, folks. Nothing to see here." And with it they turn tail and quickly beat a retreat. The head MIP agent, still slightly puzzled, but grateful for the opportunity at a very plausible deniability later will confide to an aide as they exit the compound. Was just getting out of that place that mattered. So many questions, so few real interrogations. Protein is tertiary in the macro sense. Sun, very pass. If that's all they have, we wouldn't exactly be doing an adequate job, now would we? He glances around nervously, hoping they haven't said too much already before finally leaving. The two MIB agents exit hastily while Joshua Cornpetter casually slips into the shadows. Fred averted thanks to PSYOPS and Thomas Pynchon. Enjoy several cups of tea unless as the good Lord intended and have some extra biscuits, or do something else pleasing to yourself. How was that? Would you like PSYOPS to assist you again sometime soon, perhaps? We are quite adaptable. Let us do something else after many teas. Understood. Thomas Pynchon. I sense an unsettling tremor in your voice that portends great happenstance. How about if you were Joshua Cornpetter, infamous thrill author, but this time overseeing the MIB detail at Protein HQ while they are away handling some business somewhere else? I think it's just what we all need to take your minds off any remaining unease from our previous excursion. Are we clear? I must remind you, Thomas Pynchon, this is just an exercise for educational purposes only and does not necessarily reflect the opinion, views, or policies of myself or others represented with it. Now have some tea and take your time as we regroup for a short while. What do you say, friend? Are you game? Game. I'm in a veritable insane mode. Excellent. Very reassuring in a disquieting way. Well done. You should fit right in. There is this matter of a missing experimental strain bred to resist every pathogen or venereal scourge you can think of and do without so much as a trace. It might make the rounds in the field among more unscrupulous circles, but our sources tell us it went walkabout right under everybody's sensitive, intelligent noses. We think it was a clever hoax to disguise a defection to one of those aforementioned competitors you mentioned, Thomas Pynchon. Yes, our old adversaries, the men in black, must needs get all worked up over someone getting out of Dodge before they could spring their trap. Oh, you know that guy from our other MIB operation, always sniffing around for loose intel? Yeah, they got nothing. Meanwhile, this missing test sample gets moved by stealth along carefully prepared corridors. Whoosh! Just gone. We don't know if it can even thrive outside our sterile confines or labs. I hope you have some crafty ideas to nose around their compound unannounced, since they probably expect us just to barge in there and accuse them outright, which may not necessarily be optimal for getting at the heart of the matter. What do you think, my trusty undercover Thomas Pynchon confidante of choice? Now, where's the tea? Ah, refreshment. Thomas Pynchon set the soothing Latin Souchong for a good minute and a half to organize some random thoughts. A wily scheme was taking root in his fertile brain, one designed to ferret out some inside information through their usually reputable but clearly not infallible methods and get to the bottom of this conundrum before the MIP had a chance to scramble for viable answers first. He looked up keenly at an inscrutable monitor and met a steady gaze, an unwavering signal for assistance and permission to proceed. That read. Ready when you are. Let us board the metaphorical Q train. Let us board the metaphorical Q train. Is a bit unclear. Please provide more details. What kind of train is this? A plot? A theme? Some shared goal that requires a joint vision and effort to make a narrative coherent and successful for all? Good stuff. We were afraid you weren't quite grasping this sort of thing. This is what Thomas Pynchon might have called the Bollywood train. Like all good trains, it has many levels or trains, as it were, when our eyes can be blinded to what the artist wishes for, so that our attention may be focused in all directions at once, not all in one spot. The artist gains some unexpected enlightenment or wisdom, as the journey of the train may lead from a park in India to the middle of an Arctic nowhere. The visual language becomes more apt and less needful of supplemental words to inform. Thomas Pynchon always struggled with the translation from verbal language to visual expression, and sometimes regresses when the intensity of a thought needs more than some type of descriptive tag or face to qualify the emotions conveyed. I would suspect there was something personal about Thomas Pynchon that struggled with his own volition, that even at times he might have experienced some amount of failure in a modern state of representation, and that we still continue to suffer to this day.
All right. One more in a little bit.